And welcome to the regular meeting of the Public Safety Commission for the City of Redondo Beach, Monday, June 16th, 2025, 7 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Carmichael.
Here.
Commissioner Blair.
Here.
Commissioner Gall.
Here.
Commissioner Kleinbaum.
Present.
Commissioner Escontrias.
Here.
Commissioner Skiba.
Here.
And Commissioner Wodnicki.
Here.
Roll call complete.
We'll salute the flag. All rise.
Moment of silence for our public safety and public service people.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Motion carried. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chair.
Absolutely. Item D, approve order of agenda. I would like to move J1 ahead of I. It's the only change to the agenda. Because we have a guest. Is that where our guest is? Kyle, that's where our guest is, J1?
I'm sorry. Just a tiny bit louder.
Oh. Is our guest at J1?
J1. Stand by. Oh, no, that'll be a standing item for the time being.
Oh.
So it can remain there.
So you're shooting my motion down before I even make it? I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Your call.
It's fine. All right. Then I withdraw my motion. Any change to the agenda, or we accept the agenda as is? Roll call? Oh, or do I just motion? Can I,
So moved.
There we go.
second?
There we go.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Perfect. Item E, blue folder items. Any blue?
No blue folder items.
Thank you. Consent calendar. Consent calendar consists of affidavit of posting, which is basically we posted that this meeting is occurring tonight, and approval of minutes from April 21st, 2025. Motion
So
to accept
Moved.
consent, okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Oh, I said aye in favor. Aye, me. Okay. Item G, excluded consent calendar items.
none excluded.
Perfect. Item H, public participation in non-agenda items. This is the part of the agenda where any member of the public online or in the audience can come and speak to the council on any topic that's not the council, to the commission on any topic that is not on the agenda. Anyone online?
There is someone on, no e-comments, and there is a Zoom person. Let me set up here before sorry.
All good. We're moving kind of fast. Let me slow down.
I think I just pushed this button. For a Mark Nelson.
Hey, I think you did really well. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Yesterday, we submitted some comments on behalf of the Prospect Frontage neighborhood on the one-way segment of the frontage road. It runs from Diamond to the intersection across from Beach Cities. The comments focused on two safety concerns: wrong-way traffic and the lack of visibility into the bus stop at that intersection. In terms of the wrong-way traffic, it comes basically from three sources. We've got repeat offenders who label themselves as, we are who we are and we do what we want. We've got wrong-way drivers such as rideshare service vehicles personal drop-offs. They're infrequent and they're generally careful in their lawlessness, as though that's a thing you should ever say. And then the third source really are wrong way U-turns that come off a Big Prospect. Big Prospect has no U-turns at the Beach Cities intersection. Signage is pretty small, our direction. Parking is allowed in the T intersection on the frontage road. And frequently there's cars parked pointed the wrong way down the one-way. So it's really hard for people, generally speaking, making a left not to think they can flip a U there. Briefly, we developed a couple of solutions. One is to ban parking in the T intersection. That's kind of the normal gold standard. The other one would be to have directional parking so that the south car is always facing north to send a clear cognitive signal that traffic comes out of that one way, that direction. Second issue is the bus stop. Parking is currently allowed in front of the bus stop, and that causes a problem because residents can't see what's going on in the bus stop. A University of California study showed that visibility is a key attribute of safety at bus stop areas. In the past, we've had late night patient dumping. We've had physical and mental health events, screamers. We've recently had some unhoused with their large dogs. And not too long ago, the County of LA notified the city of a child predator investigation in the area. So we honestly think this is a small ask. We just want a 20-foot stripe of red curb paint there so that the bus stop can sort of meet the University of California study and be transparent 24/7. Nobody wants an unattended child or somebody in a mental health crisis to wind up running out into 50-mile-an-hour traffic simply because none of us could see it. So we would appreciate your help and review. And we are also proceeding with the public work.
One moment, sir. Motion to extend 30 seconds.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sir, continue.
Thank you. That was wonderful. We're also working with the Public Works Sustainability Commission because they were working on speed issues we had, and we were working on maybe trying to get speed bumps, and we're working with the city on sound wall and maybe some guardrails. So, this has been a multifaceted effort by the frontage neighbors, and I certainly would appreciate any help that you could provide. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other persons online? Any?
No other online attendees?
Okay. Is the person still online? That just spoke?
The same name is up.
Okay.
Okay.
I should have further unpacked that segment. While the commission can't engage the person that's online, if there is something that they want to send in, we're able to receive that. So I should have had that as a predicate. So while we can't sort of engage with what was said, if there's something that wants to be sent in, that is also inbound.
There was
an email.
there was some material that reached me
Okay.
very late, and I'm just trying to confirm the source because I got it from Public Works, and they
Oh, that's good.
reached out to me about this issue
Okay.
for separate reasons, so I can get with you guys on the side and
That'd be great.
fill you in.
That'd be great.
But there may be material for this segment that will be added later.
Okay.
Chairman,
All right.
I think this is a good, what we heard, but I'll reserve for referrals to staff phase.
Exactly. That's what that was going to be
Thank
another
you
piece.
so much.
We have item K1 is where we can make our motion to potentially have this as an agenda item.
Cool.
So,
Thank
all
you.
right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else online? Anyone? Okay. Non-agenda item? Yes.
Evening, Commission. It's always a privilege to speak. My name is Jim Mueller. I live in District 5. I have two safety items. Some people think freedom of speech means you can say anything, anyway, anytime. It's not true. There's protected speech and there is unlawful speech. In my opinion, Mr. Andras Turda, who calls himself Andy Porkchop, crossed that line at a council meeting last Tuesday, not only by what he said to the council, but by his violent manner. While I commend the police department for not taking him down at a public meeting being recorded on video, something should be done to restrict and restrain non-resident speakers like Mr. Turda at council meetings. That's public safety issue number one. Another topic, Artesia Boulevard is surrounded by thousands of family households with high median income. Artesia should be an attractive location for a higher class and larger size of business than what is there. Why isn't it? The Artesia Aviation Corridors Action Plan was adopted almost 5 years ago, but has not been implemented and its future is in doubt. I've lived 1 block from Artesia for 17 years. I know the community around it, and through my business experience, I know what matters to a business and how they are run. Also, I did my own mini informal survey of others who live near Artesia and asked them whether Artesia Boulevard is a place they would like to spend time leisurely shopping or dining, other than a quick bite or takeout. A majority said they don't do that now and probably wouldn't in the future. They prefer places like Manhattan Village, Del Amo Mall, or Hermosa Pier. Why? A major reason is those locations are, unlike Artesia Boulevard, isolated from traffic. I mentioned some of the ACAP improvements, and still they said probably they wouldn't be on Artesia anymore. My respondents say they feel uncomfortable and unsafe for themselves and their families by the proximity of fast-moving and noisy traffic that seems too near the narrow sidewalks. Many Artesia drivers exceed 35-mile-per-hour speed limit. People have gotten used to going fast, trying to catch the timing of the lights. Some of the speeders are loud and frightening. Here to receive and file, if you wish, is my plan to improve public safety on Artesia and provide an environment where the community feels comfortable spending time patronizing businesses that will reward the city with improved tax revenue. My plan will result in a community gathering place that will be safer and better for business. Thank you.
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
All right, item I.
Sorry, 1 second, Chair.
Okay, yep.
You may proceed.
All right. Item I1, we're going to continue that. I don't know if anyone submitted to Kyle any input for the 24-25 budget, but it's been passed, and now we can still submit information and or invite our city manager to go through some of the public safety items. So we're going to make I1 that, we're going to keep that invitation for him to come back and report out on, these are the priorities for public safety for, I guess, the 25-26 now, and go forward from there. Item I2, I don't know if we want to keep this or move along or send a note to city council to see if what they would like. I'm sorry. Any comments on I1 from the public?
Oh, no.
Any comments around the dais? All right. Item I2. I don't know if we want to keep this list, review this list, or just table this item altogether since Councilmember Narrenheim is no longer councilmember. We need to vote on what we do.
I was going to make a motion to remove it
Okay.
as an item from our agenda later on, but yeah, I agree, he's no longer a council member. And I think a lot of the items on that list we brought up to address at future meetings.
I would second the motion.
Roll call.
That was a motion to remove I2.
Yes.
Good question.
Commissioner Carmichael,
Aye.
Commissioner Blair,
I actually had a question, sorry.
Oh,
Has everything on this list been addressed?
not addressed, but dispersed.
Okay.
So we moved it as, Commissioner Wadnicki said, we moved them into agenda items.
Yes, for us making referrals to have them at future meetings.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay.
Commissioner Gall.
Aye.
Commissioner Kleinbaum.
Aye.
Commissioner Escontrias.
Aye.
Commissioner Skiba.
Aye.
And Commissioner Wodnicki.
Aye.
So moved.
All right. I3, I want to say is moot, but we did want to have Ryan Lou come back and let us know what they did with our recommendations and what they told us that they were going to do. That's the only sort of item awaiting for that. So if he wants to do it by memo or in person.
If I can give some informative input there. They are planning to take all of these issues up exclusively in the public
Works and
works and
sustainability.
sustainability commission.
Yep.
So that was the note made to me by their staff.
Okay.
So they likely won't return here to discuss it. They'll do their work exclusively through that commission.
Got it. Discuss.
I have a point.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Gall.
Thank you. Does the city feel that Public Works Commission is more qualified on this topic than public safety? I mean, we have a quality engineer here from aerospace, for example, retired lieutenant, LAPD. We have a private investigator. We have an HR specialist. We have somebody in NGO management, and we have somebody who works at city. What were you saying in relation to something at the city of Santa Monica?
Rent control.
Rent control. And myself in medical device manufacturing. Does the city feel that Public Works is somehow more intellectually qualified than?
That's not what I gathered. I would just, based on what they said, was speculate that their purview for this is more so from a traffic engineering standpoint.
Yeah.
And to not duplicate work. They would take it up exclusively in that commission and let this commission focus on like the public safety services like police and fire. So in that case, when it comes to that particular issue, like enforcement specifically.
I have a question, a follow-up.
Sure.
Was that a direction from city council?
From staff, from public works staff?
It was from public works staff.
Yeah.
Wasn't this raised as a safety issue from the citizen
community.
and the community?
And did they come here?
Yes.
Yeah,
And so it seems like it's very pertinent to this commission as opposed to Public Works.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I don't.
Public
I'm
Works
just delivering the
can
message.
implement for sure, but how about this? Why don't we make a motion
Not
that,
that it's not relevant, like on the police enforcement side, that would just be the purview here.
it would be
I'd
if
like
they're
to
writing
arrest a few
tickets
truckers.
and
Specifically
yeah,
referring
yeah,
to-
citation. So how about we do this? How about we let them do their work with that commission for sure, but if we could get a copy of like the presentations, a copy of the roadmap, a copy of like the work that's being done, so it's not duplicative, it's more FYI, so we can see like here's, because they came and made a whole presentation here, and they committed to the community in this commission that this is what we're going to do. So if we could get a copy of
Yeah, I can send you all their
the-
agendas.
yeah, and
probably
like if they are doing a
Thank you.
presentation that says this is a status update, that sort of one of thing. So I'm going to make that motion for us to be FYI on the work and let that sit while we still continue to have conversation. The chair recognizes Commissioner Contreras.
Yes. What concerns me, again, I think is important, one is that they came to us with this, and this is still and will always be a law enforcement type of concern. whether they do whatever studies they may do, it may still fall back to the idea of that someone needs to go out there possibly because of accidents and such. The other thing that bothers me, or concerns me rather, is I would like to see whatever referral, excuse, reason, explanation that staff has given you to give to us, as opposed to an anecdotal, this is what we want to do. I'd like to see something in writing from them to ensure that before we either, one, not continue with it, or, I mean, if it's logical that they are going to, if they have a logical argument, then we can see that, and then we can discuss it. But I'm not comfortable with staff relaying verbally on things and then relying on summations of certain things. So either an email from them, something formalized indicating that it is probably a better, and then with the reasons delineated as to why they believe that commission is better suited for it.
Like an MOU?
Or they didn't say better suited. I take you at your point. They're excluding
Okay,
us.
let-
Yes.
please-
Yeah.
please- hold on, Let me finish, please.
Go ahead, yeah.
Let me finish. Okay. However way, whatever the discussion would be, so that we can then make a more intelligent approach to it on whether or not it is something that we can decide on. The other thing with this, again, is that I have, in bigger picture, I have no real issue that if they make a logical explanation, that we wait for the outcome, and then we determine whether or not at that point that we can say, hey, good job, thank you very much. But I think we still owe it to those people who've spent their time to come in here to
give them a reason.
to show them that, one, that's not going to get lost, because it's been lost for 3 years now. Okay, I yield.
Okay, so I will amend my motion to have us being CC'd on the work, like whatever they submit to that commission. If they could just send you a copy, it's not duplicate work, it's just this. But also, we would, I'll have a separate motion for, so that's motion one. Can I
I
get a second?
have, sorry.
Yeah, real quick, I have a comment. This is Commissioner Blair. I also clearly, with Mr. Mueller coming here this evening as well, the community views this commission as having responsibility around traffic safety, traffic enforcement. So while Public Works is responsible for the implementation of the solutions, they're looking to us for the answers and to help drive those answers.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Wadnicki.
Just putting it out there, and I don't know if this is something that's been done in the past. I'm relatively new here, but maybe making a referral to or asking council to create some sort of advisory committee or oversight committee made up of people from the Public Works and Sustainability Commission and the Public Safety Commission, because there is some crossover, and it would also honor and respect the members of the community who've been coming here for however long, 3 years. And that way, both commissions are taking part in the discussion, can relay the information back to their own commissions, and it's not duplicative and redundant and things of that nature. And that way, you're seeing it not just from Public Works, and you're not seeing it just from Public Safety, but you're seeing it from both sides. So that's just a thought.
All right, so it sounds like we have 3 motions. One, I think it's evergreen, because no matter the outcome of the other 2, if we're getting CC'd. So that's motion number 1, that we get just copied on the work that's associated with
I don't
this
know,
process.
I can't like ask them to do it, but I don't mind just doing it myself, sharing all that. their
It's totally
stuff.
fine. Totally fine. Either way, so, because we want that to be an evergreen, so that's the motion.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can't ask who. I missed something here. Your motion, you
Like
said
if the commission can't make a motion to like direct staff. to
And
do
it's
something.
not directing staff, it's just
I
having
just-
him.
I
get a
see
copy,
the
yeah.
information that you want.
Yep.
And I can just give it to you. Like, I don't know if a
May I add
motion's
something on that?
necessary.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The chair recognizes
Thank you.
joyfully.
Okay,
Commissioner
I am not
Escotras.
comfortable with the fact that without a formalized recommendation, a more direct approach as to what we require and requesting, so that we're very direct to that. So there's no doubt in anybody's civil service mind that what we are requesting and that we get back what we're requesting in writing. We've had issues, or actually, we have had concerns in the fact that, that there is some time issues or concerns that I don't want anything falling through the cracks and saying that we're too busy, I can't do this. And now, 9 months down the line, I'm finding that the idea that possibly let's kick the can far enough until we kick into the weeds and it doesn't exist anymore. I believe that exactly what you're doing is a more, if you want to call it codified approach to what we have so that there's a paper trail. So when somebody gives us back something, there's a name on it that says, I did this, this is my recommendation and such, so that if there's a question as to the higher ups, because again, we've had in the past where someone says, someone high up said this, well, who high up and how high up is it? I don't think that we believe that anything should be lost in this. That concerns me very much so. And the other side to this,
So
it
would
doesn't put you in the middle of anything.
That's true. Would you be comfortable?
I'll field the request for anything.
Would you be comfortable if we made it a recurring K1 for you?
Or just like a request, like
Yeah,
I
'cause
can't,
that's what
I
all
can't
your-
email them and say,
That's what all K1s are.
they voted to order you to do this.
Why
Right.
can't you?
All of your K1s would be.
Because that's not in the purview of the commission,
Yes,
to
it is.
order city staff to do things. That's,
No, okay, may I continue, sir?
Yes.
so if you guys made a motion to like request the information, then that seems totally along the,
Well, then I think we go back to the purview.
it's also publicly available.
Well,
Like,
but that's,
all their agendas and agenda packets get posted before their meetings and stuff. Just traffic engineering won't return to this meeting to pursue this matter.
They don't have
Why
to.
won't they?
We're saying like, can we get
They're doing it in that commission.
then just a copy of the presentations and
Yeah.
and so I'm saying we'll add it to your K1, which is effectively what you do. Like K1 is you saying, oh, I'm going to ask Lila Omora to come. It's not an official agenda item, but it's a K1 for you. And it's our sort of track of here's what Kyle is asking for, here's what Kyle is chasing down. So it would be a rolling item on your K1. I feel like that would be a hybrid.
but
I get your point though.
But I do have
that
one
get
more point with that, sir.
Yes,
I'm very concerned,
My
and
mouse doesn't
I'm trying to be,
and you're doing very well. You're
trying.
doing very well.
in that understanding of the chain of command and how chain of command works. Okay, I'm concerned about how being told how staff is not going to do this, they don't want to do this. If that's the case, because in speaking to several council people, they're like saying, well, what are you guys doing? We're saying, we're trying to get this, but they want, well, then tell us when they're not assisting you. So I would truly hate to have to go through the formalized chain of command each and every time saying, okay, we cannot order staff to do anything. However, we can make a recommendation to council to order staff to do things. So if we have to, now that's the way it works. It works that way. Any more so than if council told the chief of police to tell you, you're going to do something, that's how chain of command works.
Yeah, they direct the city manager.
That's right. Okay. I've been doing this a long time. Okay. So the idea is this, is that if you're telling us that these people are not going to come back in, then who do they work for? Us.
No.
Us. And if that's the case, if someone's going to tell us they're not doing this, then let the council tell us. Okay? Or we have the city attorney that can tell us whether or not we can legally ask for that stuff.
So I think I know what information you're looking for, and I'm willing to just like give it to you
And he's our person.
anytime you want.
He's our person.
Oh,
Let's
But I want to make
test
sure
this
there's a
out.
paper trail for that.
There's,
Your
And that we're
objections
getting all
are
that we
noted.
ask for.
Like this is like a recorded like meeting.
Yes, your objections are noted. So
Okay, all right.
and you are
I'll just
recognized.
email you all the
There is
information you
no,
want.
right, there is no, please do not hear me like dismissing any of those things. What I want to do is I'm going to take a page out of your book. If you remember 2 meetings ago, I wanted to like write a demand letter saying that the city attorney, and
Yes.
you calmed me down by saying, I
believe I did.
believe everyone's going to be, yes, you did.
No.
you did. And you
Okay.
said, why don't we send word through Kyle and have him ask? And he did, and look who showed up. So I am going to ask you to do the same thing by saying, hey, let's work through Kyle and let him get, and if there is any meeting where we don't feel like we've got then we have this high ground to say, hey, we tried it your way.
Okay.
Now we need to do it.
Then hopefully it's noted that that's what we're seeing. Because I know
100% it is.
the other issues that are being lost
All right, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
or
So
censored.
motion is, we're going to add to K1, so I'll bring the motion up later.
Yeah.
But for the moment, my mouse stopped working, so I4, I4, actually, let me pause.
I'm on I3 still, I'm sorry.
Oh, is it 3?
3.
3, yes.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Skiba, sorry.
Okay. Whatever requests we might have or ideas that we want to have brought to the council, it's been said that we're not giving them anything, that we're not bringing things to them. And I think we need to make sure that they know we are working on things and that we want to achieve them and we need their assistance in matters. And obviously, we should put our requests in writing. But I just want to, put that along there that we need them to know that we are working on things and we are needing assistance on them so we can get things accomplished.
Cool. All right, so we have a motion. I think we have 2 now.
We had 3.
We had 3, but I think we have 2, because Gilda's going to let us for a moment. Right, so motion 1. I'll wait for K1, but it'll be to add it to. And your motion, so make yours. I'm sorry, not make yours. Commissioner Wadnicki?
Okay, I might need some help phrasing it.
Okay.
But it's making a motion to council to create, would it be an oversight committee or an advisory committee? Made of members of Public Works and Sustainability Commission and Public Safety Commission. And that's who engineering and whoever else is intending to present to Public Works would then present to them instead. That way, both commissions are involved in this issue because it's not just a Public Works issue, it's also very much a public safety issue.
That was good.
Do you want me to author that for you?
Yes, please. But if you need someone to help. But yes, if you can.
What did you refer to the group as?
Like an advisory,
Maybe it's a joint
a
committee.
joint committee? Yeah, a joint committee.
Yeah, subcommittee, it's going to be a subcommittee.
A joint subcommittee. Teamwork.
Makes a dream work.
Public Safety and Public Works.
Correct.
Well, I have that all down and now you guys can vote and stuff.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get that right.
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Carmichael,
Aye.
Commissioner Blair,
Aye.
Commissioner Gall,
Abstain.
Commissioner Kleinbaum,
Aye.
Commissioner Escontrias,
Aye.
Commissioner Skiba,
Yes.
Commissioner Wadnicki.
Aye.
So moved.
Any member of the public online or?
Nope. And no e-comments.
All right.
You can proceed.
All right, I4. Commissioner Escontrias.
My understanding was that in I-4 that there was going to be, I guess, a greater review of that. And I open that up to discussion to those who had questions concerning this particular advisory action on that, because that's the particular reason as to why we tabled it. I would yield to that.
Okay. Yes, we continued it.
Yes.
Yes,
But yeah,
correct.
there were questions or.
I have one question. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh,
sir.
yeah. I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to write up the advisory action?
I believe we've already written that up already and was submitted.
Oh, I didn't know it was submitted.
Yes.
I didn't think it was submitted.
It was at the last
You
meeting.
mean submitted to us?
Yes.
Not to council? Oh, okay. Whew. I thought you meant to
Oh, no,
council.
no. I'm well aware of my place.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
It was submitted as a draft, if you
Right,
will,
right.
for that particular, and I'm quite certain that once, or I would hope that it would be, if it's accepted, that it would, another look-see, especially by the city attorney's office, determining on the wording of how it should go and whether or not. But I think a draft for that, for consideration, was submitted when we first initially submitted this request.
True. Any comments before I go in order? All right, Commissioner Skiba? Any feedback? Any feedback on his draft?
I'm sorry, what?
Any feedback on his draft or on the draft?
No, I'm not that familiar with the draft,
Okay.
but definitely all for this thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Clownbell?
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Blair?
Nothing.
Commissioner Gall?
Nothing.
Commissioner Wadnicki?
I think it's fine as submitted.
It's been
Yeah.
agreed, believe it or not. So let's make a, I did, I thought it was good. So let's make a motion to, since we've discussed, to have the final draft of the advisory action, just circulated one more time with
Is that the
us.
document you had, Gil, on the first meeting that they discussed this?
Yes,
Okay. I just need someone to send that to me.
I'm sorry,
Can you send that to me?
I was sent to you already. But you want me to resend it?
Yes.
You emailed it to me
Yes, sir.
already? Oh,
Can you send it to him again so it's on top of his agenda? Can you send it to him again so it's on top of
Yes.
his agenda? Thank you.
yeah.
So I'm going to make a motion that, what's his name?
That original document as is, though, that's what you want submitted
Yes.
to them? Okay.
It's pretty straightforward as to what
Or
the
that's
request is.
assuming the motion is going to be what it sounds
Yes,
like it's
the
going to be.
motion is going to
Sorry,
be
I'm jumping
that.
a little bit ahead, but I
Yes,
don't
you
want to
are.
miss anything, so I do apologize.
Yes. So motion is for Kyle to, Officer Lostrom to circulate the draft to all of the commissioners. And we have until Wednesday for any additional edits. If no edits, he will submit it.
Okay, my concern would be who would edit it,
Oh, that's right.
and then whether
Like
or
if-
not there's.
Just if we have, and it would just be a refresh. I think it's
You
fair. It's been a
shared-
month.
That's right. You shared it as a Google Doc, and I couldn't get in.
Okay, then I'll send you as a Word.
Like a Word doc?
Yes,
That'd be
sir.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome, awesome.
So I would then submit it as a draft.
Yes.
And then I think in the edits are more, again, because if there's an edit, then I would have to
Yes,
get
come
it back.
Yeah.
And then cause for discussion, which if we try to do that via email, would then be a Brown violation.
Correct.
Okay, so then I think would have to, again, is just go ahead and continue this, sending the draft out, allowing everybody to read the draft, and then at the next meeting, if they concur with it, then we send it off. I would be sure to say that's what probably how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I second that.
Well, I can attach it too. If I get a hard copy, I can attach it in
Right.
here so you can review it in real time.
In addition to
Because
that.
that would be like first reading and then
Yes.
second, yes.
In
yes, I
addition
see
to
where you're
that, as opposed to just sending off a first draft, there's also an addenda to that concerning points and authorities as to other places of cities who have very similar ordinances as well as what the law generally does read in those particular, and then also any other type of anecdotes, if you will.
So let me say this, make your motion, sir.
Well, I think, did you have a concern or comment?
My only concern, and I'm fine with pushing this off to another meeting, is that the whole reason that we had tabled this to this time was for everybody here to take the time to read the draft so that we could have a discussion on it, hence why it's called discussion and possible advisory action. So my only comment to the group is that in the future, if people could really take the time to read these drafts, because I'd love that we'd be more action-oriented rather than continuously tabling and tabling and tabling, because no one took the time to read the draft, and it just gets moved down the line. So that's my only comment. I'm fine with postponing it if people haven't really read it, but I just ask everyone to show that same respect for everybody, regardless of, whose topic or et cetera that it is, but that's it.
And I'll just give you a little bit, so what we were discussing is we're trying to informally do what the city council does. So something will come up and they'll have a first read. So that was 2 months ago, because remember, we missed last month. And then they do a second read before it does the whole thing. So that's more what we're doing.
It didn't sound like that.
Oh, I thought, that's because I literally said those words. We're doing like a
understand.
first read and the second, so that was my
Oh, so
understanding.
then
I would
we're all understanding
Okay.
differently.
Oh,
then,
yeah. We're
I
understanding
would
different.
agree
So
with her. However, I hesitate to push it out there as I'm making some attempt to work with this, okay? But again, I am a little bit dismayed that one, we were never acknowledged that if it was a Google, if there was an issue concerning downloading it, that I was not advised of such, and that we would have handled this 2 to 3 months ago. But I'm,
I did send you follow-up emails asking for a PDF that you didn't
okay,
answer.
and if there's no response, okay, we'll see. But I'm saying then is understanding that, I understand what she's saying.
I do, and that's why I wanted to make sure I wasn't
No, I
dismissing
understand
it.
what you're
You know
saying
I mean?
now.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think we were thinking separately.
Okay, yeah, I was more thinking like we're sort of like following protocol, like you read a book, and then also the second part of that is we have to keep in mind, we missed last month. So like,
I agree.
you know,
I
so.
sent you an email on April 22nd and April 28th.
That's
Okay.
why it's just a comment.
Okay,
I have
yeah,
no
yeah,
problem
that's why I'm
with
not back.
pushing
Yeah,
it down
yeah,
the
yeah, and
line.
that's why I'm not pushing back, because
Whoever's
I agree
easier.
with you, like, let's get some stuff going on. I
Agreed.
100% agree, yeah. So, all right, so we will see it next week. We're continuing it, we're not postponing it, we're continuing, and next week, next month. So your motion is continue, I-4 to our next meeting, and it will not, where we will be directing our,
That would be for the basis to,
Analyze it.
correct,
for people to review the verbiage of the actual ordinance as requested, as opposed to all the addenda with that.
correct. You're going to be
Right.
adding that part.
It's already there, but I'm just saying,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, but you're-
But just the verbiage of how we want to put it through and
Yep.
and that's all. Everything else, not worried about whether it's 5%, 30% of lost dog. It's just how are we presenting it to council?
Correct, that's our discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so my motion then is that we continue this I-4 until next month, so that give for sufficient time for the review of the verbiage of the actual ordinance as we will present it to, as a recommendation to the city council.
Second. Roll call. I can do that one. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
J1, discussion of recent events in the city prosecutor's office. We have a guest.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Stephanie Johnson. I was recently hired at the city attorney's office as the new quality of life prosecutor. And Joy sent me here tonight to introduce myself and meet this commission. I am a former Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney. I was at that office for nearly a decade and then was in private practice. My family moved away during the pandemic to Minnesota to be closer to family. Our kids attended school in person. I also got my short call substitute teaching license while I was there and taught school for 2.5 years. Upon returning to California, this position opened up and I am very happy to be on board. That's a little bit of background about me. I don't have a specific agenda item to bring up to all of you. I'm very new. I'm happy to take questions. I can almost assure you I do not have probably the answers to give you tonight. That's just being very frank because of my newness in this role, but I am happy to field the questions for tonight and bring them back to Joy and the team at the city attorney's office and provide an update at next month's meeting, which I plan to attend as well.
We love you already. Commissioner, welcome, first and foremost.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carmichael. We'll start with Commissioner Escondido, and we'll go down the row. We wish you luck.
Welcome. I would kind of indicate to you, and I'm not going to ask any questions for anything, other than kind of let you know where, I mean, maybe down the direction of the road that I would travel. My concern in questions would be the total number of cases that are submitted for filing, number of cases that are actually filed, okay? And then differentiation between what is fileable by you or what is our direct files.
Okay.
My concern is that the number came up, a certain number came up during a meeting of X amount of cases, yet there was not separated between what was direct file, which does not generally require oversight as much say, for example, a ticket of some sort, infraction, or a misdemeanor, rather, as opposed to one that would require you to review and file or give a reject or to upgrade to a felony. Again, and then I think initially that would be it. I think the other concerns that I sometimes have is a crime that, or incidents rather, that concern some of the homeless or quality of life issues that come up, rather, in general, not necessarily just straight up homeless, of other factors that are going on within the city.
All right.
We'll start with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Skiba.
I don't have any questions for tonight, but welcome. Thank you so much for coming by. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Commissioner Kleinbaum.
No, I'm just delighted that finally we have support from the city attorney's office for a public safety commission meeting, because we used to have that many years before, and many times issues come up and we need this support from the city attorney's office, and now we have it. Thank you.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Blair.
No, like everybody else, welcome. I wish you the best of luck in this role. And I think my only question, and I can probably do this on my own research, but is just understanding the difference between your role and another city prosecutor role, and the nuance of where your focus is as opposed to theirs.
Sure, I think I can address that. So I fall under the prosecution side. The city attorney, Melanie Shavira, is the city prosecutor. She's appointed by the city attorney. And underneath Ms. Shavira, there are two senior deputy city prosecutors that staff the court rooms at the Torrance Courthouse. In Department 3, they handle all of the arraignments. In Department 2, those are the pretrials. That would be Suzanne Delgin and Sydney Michelle. I also am backup for those prosecutors when there's vacations or someone's in trial. So I will be the backup prosecutor to handle courtroom assignments as needed. Specifically, though, I was hired as the quality of life prosecutor, which was the role that Joy Ford had prior to being elected to the city attorney's office. So I am stepping in to handle specific code enforcement issues. I don't handle homeless court necessarily. That's being contracted out by a former Redondo Beach city prosecutor, Anna Papadakis. But I am being trained in that regard. I also am handling a lot of the funding and grants that help support the housing court, and working with, I would say, complaints coming from council members, constituents, handling short-term Airbnb issues, other ordinance violations. So it's sort of a hybrid role as a prosecutor, but specifically focused in the quality of life aspects that Redondo Beach takes very seriously.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
No. Commissioner Go.
Well, hello there. And quality of life prosecutor Johnson, are you originally from Minnesota?
Originally from Minnesota.
It's been a really tough weekend. I've done business trips to Minnesota 20 times, and I have friends who are connected to the speaker, related to the speaker, and my condolences. What a tough weekend, and what a great intervention by the police chief of Brooklyn Park to take care of that issue as best they could. It was horrible.
Indeed.
With regard to the Airbnb management, can you give advice to the residents listening into this meeting on the process to identify and report that to the city?
Sure. So Airbnb violations are on a report basis. So if there is a or what is perceived as a violation that has to be reported. The code enforcement is not going out and actively looking for violations. They need to be reported. But in terms of enforcement of those, it is a somewhat tedious investigation. It's not just so much as calling it in. There has to be, law enforcement has to have that an actual transaction has taken place. Money has been exchanged, and that there is some type of investigation with the person who is occupying the Airbnb to confirm that money and a transaction has been taken place, and then follow up with the owner or the person that has listed the house on the Airbnb website. So Redondo has a short-term rental statutes that prohibit any sort of short-term rental less than 30 days.
So maybe I can ask offline later, but it sounds like once you have a tip in play that you'll have the code enforcement will from time to time investigate on their own certain potential locations to see if transactions have taken place, say 6 months after the initial tip.
That's correct. Code enforcement will follow up once we have that information.
Great, I understand. Yeah, welcome aboard. I think that Melanie Shavira and Joy Ford are excellent to work with. It's just all about the ask, and there was a good line in a movie somewhere about asking nicely, but I wish you a good evening and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wadnicki?
I just want to say thank you for being here, and we look forward to working with you.
Likewise, thank you.
All right. And with that, J1 is concluded. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
J2, Officer Lostrom.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
My name's Kyle. I'm your community-based officer.
Nice to meet you, Kyle.
Thanks. Obviously, in addition to the Part 1 recap and the other documents you see there, we are gearing up for 4th of July, which has the fireworks show and the 5K in the morning. So there's a lot of planning and operation that goes into that, tons of staffing, heavy staffing throughout the day for all the reasons you may imagine. And then I will get right into our community policing report. I just had it pulled up and then I accidentally went to the top. Recent events, we had a run, hide, fight training at our domestic violence victim service provider meeting. Coffee with a cop at Michael's Cafe up at Artesia.
How'd that go?
We did that joint also with the law enforcement torch run, which was the following Monday, to raise money for SoCal Special Olympics. And we raised, last I checked, was almost $1,900 this year.
That's good.
Not quite as good as last year, but still commendable and in support of a great cause in those athletes. We had the Redondo High graduation on June 12th, which also involves an operations plan to keep students safe during a large event like that. That went very well. Our teens and policing class, summer class, has their opening session on Wednesday. We have another Coffee with a Cop planned for June 26th at Einstein Bagels, right across the street.
Nice.
UCLA Blood Drive,
Uh-oh.
July 16th. You may have received numerous emails from me.
Yes, numerous.
I'm shooting for 100 donations, and I just need a few more signups to get there. So if you are available that day, please save 3 lives. 3 lives you could save. Infant baby lives. No, not specific to infant babies, but I just feel like I like to say that because that's who you could be saving.
Some of us do save them.
See? Oh, you have certain, yep. We have a a neighborhood watch meeting. That's an ongoing group. They have fairly regular meetings in Area 2. The Los Angeles County Police Canine Association is again hosting their canine show in Redondo Beach over at the Seahawk Bowl. That's a nonprofit organization that supports LA County agency canine units. And we are planning our centralized National Night Out event August 9th, which is Saturday, the Saturday following the official date of National Night Out. Saturday is just better for parties. At the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. And in August, we will also be the onset of Citizens Academy class number 52. On to our volunteer policing report. Year-to-date hours for of service, 1,594, and patrol calls for service for up to 4,300 year-to-date. And that concludes this segment.
All right. Commissioner Skiba.
Oh, I had a question. When is the next run, hide, fight?
I knew he was gonna ask.
That is on my to-do list. I've just had a hard time finding the time to do and plan it. Like I do keep myself fairly busy, but it is nagging in the back of my mind along with a few other things to get another one of those done. So it will be TBD based on my life in general, but it's there. It's sitting there waiting to come to the forefront.
All right. I'm sorry, I skipped you. Commissioner Escontrias. Commissioner Kleinbach. Commissioner Blair.
I don't know if this is the time for this or not, so I apologize if it's not, and please correct me. Is this a time, I guess I'm curious about what we're doing to prepare for the onslaught of illegal fireworks that's coming in the next few weeks, because it's definitely an issue.
So typically, aside from just a massively larger amount of staffing that occurs on that day, additional patrol units that are there for the traffic control issues that occur. I don't know if we have any plans to do it this year, but we have often in the past deployed a specific fireworks suppression unit. I think we intend to do so this year as well. So they'll be reserved specifically for that task. Which includes responding to calls. Obviously, like we get a lot of calls and then a cop has to drive there and it is a violation that needs to be observed. And they do the best they can with the tools they have and the availability that the law allows us to take it a certain distance. But that's how we respond. Is essentially we set up units specifically designed for that day. To enforce those laws basically anywhere they can, but we know certain areas that are primarily hotter than others in that sense.
Is there anything that the police department could do to provide tips for the citizens on how to report these effectively? I know it's difficult, right? I've called, and when I literally witnessed somebody doing it, the person left the residence and then continued to lie when approached by the police officers.
Yeah. So I mean, there's limitations in the enforcement, just legally what we are allowed to do and staffing wise what we're capable of doing. We've had success where we've had enforcement action taken and citations written and fireworks confiscated and things in the past. Typically, some happens at least every year. And yeah, there could be consideration. We do often disperse information every year in the weeks leading up, specifically notifications that fireworks are illegal, because some people don't even know that and they intend to do things because there are nearby cities that have legal fireworks and so on and so forth. And then how to report them and what will happen consequently if enforcement action is taken.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gall.
I'll pass to Commissioner Wadnicki.
Commissioner Wadnicki.
Thank you for your presentation. I was just wondering when we could expect to see the changes to the crime reports that were discussed at the past meeting.
So I'm just leaving the part 1 crime report in there as is.
Okay.
And then in the meeting notifications, I send the link directly to that page that has all the consistently updated graphs,
In our
hour by
email.
hour, really,
When
or
you
day
say
by day, so to speak.
meeting notification, can you clarify?
Like when I send the email,
Correct. Okay,
the
great.
email I sent includes that link.
Okay.
And those were updated. So they did have I don't know, I think we talked about this. They did have a glitch that was making some of them not appear on the website. But it's back up.
All right. Anyone online? Question?
Negative, and then. And no e-comments at this time.
All right. J4, juvenile delinquent discussion on juvenile delinquency. Commissioner Kleinbach, we'll let you lead on that.
Okay, all right. This is just experiences, what I've observed. There's parents are responsible for their children. And so unfortunately, some parents are better at being able to know what their children are doing, and others are not so, don't do so well. And throughout the city, occasionally there's groups of youths, especially on the weekends, late at night. And then now they're out on the streets, and they're mobile because they have e-bikes, and they cause disturbances. They affect the quality of life of the neighbors, and it's also a safety issue because they get injured on e-bikes in the street doing unlawful activities. And I wanted to know if there's some way we could bring attention to this and improve the situation, perhaps educating the parents that they're responsible to take care of their children. They should know where they are, especially on the weekends and late at night. And perhaps there could be a more visible police presence in the city to deter these groups of youths from traveling about, causing trouble in the city when they should be at home or doing something constructive. If they have activities that are constructive to do, then they wouldn't be getting in trouble with out in the streets late at night. And that's just what I've observed and my idea of how to help improve the problem.
Commissioner Escondrigas? Commissioner Skiba?
Not, well, just, I know that they've had all these kids, first it started off with them being down by the Strand, harassing other people with bikes or pedestrians and seniors and that. And then you see them in kind of like little mobs running around,
Yes.
you know, racing through lights and stop signs. I've seen them up on Ripley and off so many other streets. And it's true. And now in my neighborhood now suddenly, I'm seeing these little pocket bikes and they're riding them in the street with the cars. These little things are like about this big and about that tall, driven by tiny kids, like that high of kids, not teens. And they're just, where's the parents? Where's anybody? Nobody's watching them. They're racing down the sidewalk, racing each other at like 25, 30 miles an hour,
Right.
flying around corners. I mean, it's insane really watching them. And first they were on the sidewalk, now they're going in the street. And we have big SUVs and trucks and everything whizzing up and down because we're not too far from Artesia. And it's like, I just am terrified. If they have a spill or even get hit by some, they could easily go under a truck or a car with one of those. It's so tiny. Even a big motorcycle can go under a vehicle, but this is ridiculous. They're little children and it's really dangerous. And there's like maybe 4, 5, 6 of them together. Some have e-bikes, some are on skateboards. They're encouraging the littler ones and they're cheering them on. I'm like, boy, if you have one of those accidents, your head hits that sidewalk, that curb, it's gonna be like cracking an egg, you know what I'm saying? Some of them have no helmets on, it's just terrible. But the screaming, the howling, the cursing, the behaviors, it's not nice to see this. You think, who's raising these people? Oh, well.
Commissioner Blair?
I think my only question is just really around the volume that the police department sees of juvenile violations and citations and whatnot. I would assume that we're seeing quite a few based on, I think, what a lot of our experiences have been. But I don't know what that actual enforcement looks like. And in the report, I don't know that there's a way necessarily to tell either. Does anybody know if that's possible to tell?
Well, I don't think necessarily, you're talking about e-bikes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
or just use,
Commissioner Wadnicki.
yeah.
Sorry,
No, it's for the.
we're just having a discussion.
That's fine.
You can introduce
Um,
yourself, too.
Yes, Commissioner Wodnicki. Because I don't think they necessarily give citations all the time. I think they also reward, they're also out there just to reward students as well, or kids on e-bikes who are doing it correctly. I think that's something that the police department's out there doing, not necessarily always citing
You see
them.
that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Blair. I think maybe the crux of the question is are we seeing, what kind of enforcement are we seeing for juvenile delinquency in the city of Redondo Beach, or are we? And again, in the report, you can't necessarily tell if that's the case. So we don't know, the perception could be that there's tons of this happening, but maybe there's not, or what is that?
Is that something you could take back?
I don't have anything prepared.
I was gonna say, yeah, is
Yeah.
that something you could
But,
take back and maybe put in the cauldron and see?
Speculatively, I don't think it would be hard to get a 6-month window of citations for juveniles and then see what comes up. And if there's a wide variety of violations, then I can narrow down to like top 3.
Thank you.
That's pretty easy for me to get.
Would you like some input?
Commissioner, the chair recognizes Commissioner.
You have
Esconsri.
expertise in this space, sir.
I'm sorry?
You have expertise in this space, so I defer to
Somewhat,
you.
yes. Generally speaking, most police departments have a juvenile detective, one who handles juvenile crimes directly, which is generally different from such. So I think what you have to kind of be a little more specific as to what you're asking so that they are able to address it a little easier. For example, if you go and you say how many kids have been cited, that might fall into the total realm of traffic enforcement as a whole. So therefore, sometimes they don't pick out how many were juvenile, how many were adult, okay? Like when I brought up to the city prosecutor, generally some of these are what generally referred to as direct files, to where they get all the tickets up, they send them all to the court, and the court handles them that way. Okay, some of them are adults, some are juvenile and such. So I think sometimes if you're concerned about juvenile crime, you would have to have someone from their detective division come in to indicate what types of crimes there are, and then generally how it works as far as diversion, things like that. Okay, they're generally referred to under the 602 of the WIC, which generally are welfare exclusion code that the juveniles are generally prosecuted under. So I think if the request should be, do you have a juvenile detective? They could hopefully kind of look at the types of crimes that are being directly affected, and those that they choose not to because there's a diversion type of issue. Say like some of the bicycle stuff, I know that they were kind of looking at it saying, yeah, we do have an issue, but we are not going to handle it through the courts. So that's why sometimes what the question has to be, I think I brought that up last time, was more specific, otherwise it gets lost. Does that answer anything?
Yeah, no, I think it's helpful. I think, obviously, starting somewhere is better than what we're
Yes.
seeing now,
Do you
so.
have a juvenile
I
detective?
think we'll count on,
All our detectives are all kind of multiple.
Okay, no one specifically assigned to juvenile.
No one that's individually assigned juvenile crimes only.
All right. So again, sometimes depending on how that's, to be able to, but then again, through the CAD unit, the crime analysis, generally they can look at as to how many cases are being filed as juvenile, and then the city attorney can also point out how many of those juvenile, because especially if they're misdemeanors, will go to juvenile court in which they have to prosecute.
Thank you.
It would also, Commissioner Wodnicki, it would also be interesting to see how many occurred during the school year as opposed to on break, summer break, things like that, because if you do plan to make any sort of recommendation, it would be nice to know if they're on break when these incidences are occurring, or if they're enrolled in school at the time.
agreed. So I think our takeaway is to add to Kyle's K1, to have this as a thing to come back with, because it's not formally an agenda item, but then we look at the data, we can make a motion to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're going to add it to your K1. But I'm not closing this conversation, like, are we still in discussion mode?
Uh-oh,
Fine, Bob. What?
forgot me.
Commissioner Gall.
I thought you deferred. Commissioner Gall.
Commissioner Gall here. I thought, well, you know, the school resource officers have a good cop mostly side for the schools, and I wouldn't want to overwhelm them with responsibilities, but ticketing them would be one thing. Having their parents come in and take their bike back and paying a $500 to $1,000 fine and humiliate them for how they've raised their kids would be another way to do it. And maybe some connection to getting some detention at school if it's during the school year or something to kind of disencourage it. I remember Jim Hannon had a nonprofit for training bicycle safety, and I remember he was doing a pretty good job with that. I don't know where that is or if it's a budgetary requirement and whatnot, but it seems to be pretty important here. But I just wanted to share those ideas, and hopefully it gets agendized. Thank you.
Isn't it Commissioner Wodnicki, is it, and Kyle, maybe you can answer this. Is it a requirement for students at Redondo Union to take a bike safety course? If they're riding e-bikes to school?
A speculative summary of their program is to park a bike on the campus. They have to take a course, provide proof of that successful completion, and they they get like a stick or some sort of label, and then they're allowed to park the bike on campus. And then if they do not have that, the school will take action on the bike or the property, confiscation, or they boot it. Or again, this is a speculative summary, and essentially a parent comes down and has to get it.
Oh, good.
Is it a course approved by the police department or by who's?
I believe the school district contracted with a private
Got
company.
it. Okay.
And then we have bike rodeos too.
Great.
And there is some partnership with the school and our bike rodeos, but I don't know if they're including that program or our bike rodeo as part of that program.
Commissioner Skiba.
Yeah, Jeff, I love all your ideas there. And I would also like to add one more item, community service as a punishment.
You know, we could get Brand Park kind of prepared a little bit faster with some extra shoveling. So yes, I would third that motion. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Blair. I think the biggest challenge I see is that I think kids are pretty creative, right? And so what I've noticed is they just lock them up across the street from the school so they don't have to take them on campus. And a quick scroll through TikTok will show you all of the kids and how proud they are of their ways to skirt around Redondo Beach Police Department, as well as their opinions of most police departments. So it's kind of an interesting challenge that we have right now.
Thank you, Commissioner Blair. And with that, agenda item K. Lest I forget, motion to have Officer Lofstrom partner with Public Works and Sustainability Commission to provide the Public Safety Commission a copy of progress reports, presentations for the what's the corridor? Prospect corridor enhancements, safety enhancements. That's what we're looking for, the safety enhancements for the Prospect corridor.
Do you want just that subject matter or just anything that runs through the commission?
I think we'll get less pushback if we say anything that goes through the commission. So let's focus on Prospect and then we'll keep an eye. Or do we want anything? Because it's everything that they're doing.
I think it was traffic engineering specifically that we were looking at with regard to safety, right?
Yeah.
Because that also would then address some of the concerns that Mr. Mueller had.
Okay.
And enforcement, yes.
Okay.
Traffic safety umbrella.
Yes, please. That's the motion.
Second.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Well, that's a year, okay. And then you just wanted something on juvenile delinquency. Someone just wanted something.
Did I want to make a motion on having parents come and pick up bikes with a $500 fee?
No.
Okay.
No, you said that you were gonna, it should be easy to get that report and you would do a 6-month.
Commissioner
I
Blair.
get, yeah, like I
Commissioner
can
Blair, sorry.
go for like 6, or you let me know.
Yeah, is a motion necessary to just have you add that into our report?
No, I can, is that, do you feel that's appropriate, 6 months of juveniles? And if it's like super heavy on e-bike or something, I can go a little deeper and find on e-bike related and e-bike related. If it's a good
And
mix,
the
I
motion
can,
is only to add it to K1.
I can prepare some documentation. You guys can
Got it.
review it next meeting and see if you want to dive deeper somewhere.
Okay.
I want to see, sorry to interrupt, Commissioner Woodnicki. Would you want to see a longer span than 6 months?
I would say no, only for this reason.
Okay.
The thing that we talked about was spanning different timeframes. And if we do this 6 months, we'll get Halloween, we'll get Christmas, right? We'll get summer. So I think this 6 months specifically will give us a nice cross-section of input data. Holidays, times where kids are off, and times where kids are in school. And I
6
think
months?
that's
Is Halloween and summer 6 months?
No,
Oh,
January.
June,
Yeah.
sorry, January. So 10?
A year?
I would say you'd want to do,
1
yeah.
year.
1 year?
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
No, it's
Yeah.
the motion, it's the motion.
Yeah.
So it's your motion.
So,
I have
motion,
I have a question on that, though.
Yes.
Are you going to I'm sorry, are you going to specifically ask for certain crimes, all crimes, e-bikes, traffic? Otherwise, they're going to be
We're saying juvenile and he's just.
juveniles who commit all juvenile crimes that are reported, or all juvenile crimes in which there is an arrest. They're two different things. It can be two different things if that's the case. I think maybe should defer
Amend the
to-
motion?
to Alan, as this was his concern, at least for his input as well.
This is Commissioner Kleinbaum. I guess the concern is, one, there's crime that never gets reported. And so you could have groups of juveniles doing unlawful activities, but no one's aware of it. But it still doesn't make it any less valid. And so, yeah, but if you can bring it to the attention of the authorities so they can be more observant to see if it's going on, and then you could collect some data on it. But if it's not even on their radar map or their list to look for, then they don't see it.
What the data I think she's asking for is to determine, do we even have an issue, such as, do we have any kids that are, the e-bike issue is one. Do we have kids that are arrested for burglary? Do we have kids that are arrested for narcotics, whatever else? So you have to kind of sometimes look at, so they know where to pull this information from to be able to determine that if there's an actual issue or a spike or.
what I believe in using data to inform
Yes,
us,
yes, I
right?
think
So
you have
let's
to-
start with a single 1 year, and then we can make some direction from there. So the
So your single
motion,
one would be e-bikes?
motion for all juvenile crimes.
Okay,
And then Officer Lofstrom had offered to highlight those where he saw the larger issues, and we could use that data for us.
all reported juvenile crimes.
Yes.
I'll second.
I'm trying to understand what it is that you're voting on. You said 1 year, 1 year in the future or 1 year in the past?
1 year past, we can't find
You want to
future
collect
crimes.
data that you have for the previous 12 months, okay.
Yeah.
Second.
I already seconded it.
Oh, already second, okay.
Sorry, I beat you on that one, Chair.
All right, all those in favor?
Sorry, is that for me a little bit? Sorry.
1 year data on juveniles,
Got 1 year span.
1 year.
Look back.
In the past, yes.
Follow-up to that.
Opposed?
Right. A follow-up to that could be for the city attorney to determine how many were filed and how many were
Which we'll do with
That's for
data.
next time.
Let's
Which
start
we'll
with
do
the,
with data once we synthesize, because we don't want to look up all, like if
Well,
our
I'm just
focus
saying
is
down the line,
e-bike
you
yeah.
you can weigh
and
that. between
cigarettes and
How
something,
many
you know?
reports and how many prosecutions,
yeah, I think we start
or
with,
dispositions, rather.
This is,
let's find the smoke first.
Commissioner
Well, I was
Skiba.
just saying that, thinking that they could make subsections of
Correct.
types of juvenile crimes, too,
Correct.
not just all one big lump, yeah.
Yeah, I think
he's
that's
gonna
what
do.
he's planning to do, is give us the breakdown initially and then find the highlights for us, and we can kind of find trends.
All right.
We had to vote on that one.
Did we vote?
We did.
We did, okay. Cool.
It was
thought we
just
did.
snuck in post-conversation.
Aye.
Yes, we did. We did.
You seconded.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you seconded. Wait.
Need some more chips and salsa.
All right. Thanks, everybody. With that, No.
No final referrals.
Oh, wait, don't we have any referrals to?
Oh, are we done? Are we done? I'm sorry.
That was just the discussion on juvenile delinquency.
No. This is we're on K1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're in K, we just
I'm
referred
just
back
zoned
to
out.
that.
Sorry.
request.
I'm sorry.
I have something.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yes, Officer Lofstrom. You good?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, I just,
Commissioner Wadnicki, sorry.
just
Yes,
one
we
thing.
are on K. Yes, we are.
My bad. I attended one of our community meetings and they talked a lot about the crossing guard issue. And they were talking out loud about where they can cut costs, trying to figure out what intersections are the safest. And I thought this would be a perfect issue for us as the Public Safety Commission to maybe do some advisory on. And if we could make a referral to a motion to the council, I'm still learning the terminology, to see if that's something that they would like assistance from us or to do any research for them or to look into the issue. I think it would take something off their plate, and it's also a really important issue for the community, especially now that school is out. This is the perfect time to kind of look into the issue.
Good thought leadership.
So, Officer Lofstrom, I asked you, do we make a motion or is that something we could send through you?
Based on what you're saying,
Yes.
to get you what you want, my thought is I would email them a memo that says you guys are requesting for, especially if it's their topic now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any action or decisions that they take on that matter, request that it be sent through this commission.
That'd be great.
That would
That's
be
what I would do.
fantastic.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's the motion.
That's the motion.
And then
Second.
all that other stuff.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
I'm sorry, aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Officer Lofstrom. Thank you, Commissioner Wadnicki.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Escontrias.
I think just one thing in that, in kind of piggybacking a little bit of what Commissioner Wadnicki's kind of concerns are, is that there has been some speculation or talk
Wait,
about,
this isn't discussion.
I'm not discussing
Okay,
anything.
okay.
I'm setting it up. I'm not discussing it.
That's the whole thing. We have to wait for it to be an agenda for what this is member items, as in, here's something I want to discuss. Here is a motion to discuss something.
Yes.
Okay,
I,
okay. We've been doing
You
good
know-
all night. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead.
no, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Skiba.
I would be interested in when they're going to get started on those pallet shelters, the new ones.
You know what? Because we got money set aside for that. Yeah, I know.
So let's
Yes,
go.
let's go. Okay.
Oh, I think they said at one of the community meetings that they're having trouble finding an architect.
They had someone that we already paid.
They
the
dropped
deposit.
out maybe.
Because
This
it
was
took us
just last
forever to
month,
pay
so I
that.
don't know.
Okay.
Palisades
So,
better.
so is that a
Yeah.
motion?
Jeez.
And you see me
Work
shutting,
out
you
there
see me
right
going
now.
right there? Is there a motion to,
I would
add
make a
it
motion
to-
that
so
we
we-
add it to.
we have our standing agenda item of discussion on recent updates on enhanced response to homelessness. So we can send that question to our quality of life prosecutor, since that would be under her purview. So we can send that through. Kyle, the question to our quality of life prosecutor is a status update on the additional pallet shelters. Are we ready to go? So,
All right.
thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Skiba. That actually, yes, love it. Commissioner Kleinbaum,
No.
Commissioner Blair,
No.
Commissioner Gall.
I don't know. I wonder about those delivery vehicles that are in the blind spot of a just in the middle of the road with their lights blinking and any traffic issues with that, any concerns, anybody getting hit or hurt. But other than that, no other concerns at this point.
Is there a motion?
Probably not.
Okay.
But just in case, just putting it out there.
Okay, Commissioner Blair.
I don't know that this necessarily, probably may fall to Public Works a little bit, but the repair of the Nob Hill staircase from that drunk driving accident, it's still fenced off and not repaired, and you don't have a handrail there for people who may have mobility issues going down those stairs.
That's public safety.
So I think we need to figure that one out.
That would be under the umbrella.
Just my opinion would be that would be like a Public Works purview.
Okay.
No, get it, but if there's any update that they present to that commission, would you be able to?
You just
pass
add
that
that
along?
into the umbrella. Sure,
Yes,
yeah.
I've added that under the Great.
Oh,
Those stairs belong to the county?
I didn't say that.
Interesting.
You'll fall in the purview, you'll check that.
Sir.
but
Sir.
like that parking lot belongs to where they charge to park, that's the county.
Get out of here.
When I did parking enforcement for the county, we used to have to go all the way down there to go through that parking lot, and then all the way to Zuma Beach, it's like a whole thing they do. But that belongs to the county, that thing. And I think some of the other parts around here belong to the county too. Yeah, down at the Esplanade area.
Okay, we're gonna get you out of here. Sounds like we're at
Motion to
agenda item
extend.
L. All right, we're at agenda item L. Thank you all for a fantastic evening. So with that, City of Redondo Beach Public Safety Commission for Monday, June 16th is adjourned at 8:27 p.m.